Streaming.
HP.
Okay, at least it's working now. Alright. I don't think I'd really have to, like, ask you guys about this, but, like, I'm live, just so you know. Nothing bad. Thank you.
You're live, what? Live streaming?
Live streaming, yes. I'm live streaming it tonight.
I think what he's asking is, do you mind?
Do you guys mind? Yeah.
How many people are gonna watch?
Like, I'm gonna be entirely honest. I'm gonna be lucky if I get like 2 people, bruh.
Okay. Should be okay, I think. Christian went to the bathroom, so we'll have to ask him when he gets back.
Yeah. I have so many things open right now. I do not know how my computer is not breaking.
Break your computer.
Hey,
Data
I've already
break.
done that once today, so.
Sam's got the stream. Are you open?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. Thank you guys. However, though, since I am live as well, don't refer to me as my real name, please. And thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
So strictly
Don't use.
Char, Adra, Gladius, and Kristoff.
Yep.
Gladius, I have a question. Can I start calling you Gluteus?
No. You disrespect Wild, bruh.
Bruh?
Bruh.
So, Tom, where am I supposed to keep track of all this exhaustion points, expo?
I would just probably keep track of it on that sheet that I sent you. You can put, stuff on that if you want. Or you can, like, put an item in your inventory with 0 weight, or, just whatever works for you. You can keep track of it on a piece of paper, I don't care.
By the way, with some of this
Okay.
fog, I can't see. Like, I was in a whole bunch of fog, and I, like, can't really see myself.
Okay, give me a sec, Sam. So you can't see anything at all?
I can see... No, I can see things. But, like, yeah, okay, so we're in this room. Okay, that's my bad.
Not everybody's in there. Everyone's kind of separated out. Let me... Oh, I see what you're saying. Here, let me just copy a couple more of these in so that you can... So, with the castle, kind of the thought I had is as you add things to the castle, I'll add little images for them. Currently, it's very, very empty, but you have the 4 altars, both to the northwest, the northeast, the southwest, and the southeast, as you can probably maybe see. And then this other room out back here, I just opened the door for it. This left one goes outside, this right one, that's an empty room as of now. So if you want to add anything in there, you can, but you have a big floating house, pretty much.
Can I ask what's with the mirrored effect?
What's with what?
So on the north and south parts of the map that we can see,
Mm-hmm.
like part
Feel
of the
free
map,
to explore it as much as you want, by the way.
Okay. Maybe that-
So you said there's a north and south part of the map, what?
What I'm standing in front of, what am I looking at? Looks like a giant mirror. Is that supposed to look like that?
Sorry, I'm looking for your character. Oh, that's a wall.
It's a wall. Why does the wall have images in it?
I can barely see
That's
over
just
here.
like the texture of the wall.
Okay.
That's just the texture of the wall. It's like a white plaster wall is what it was supposed to be. Is what it was called.
Okay.
So it's just a white wall.
Is it just me, or is there fog
Is
in
it-
the middle of the house for anybody else?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Gladius.
Oh, that. Where is your character?
Like right here, there's fog, and I can't see anything, and they're not even myself, bruh.
Yeah. It's because there's not any lights there and you don't have night vision.
Well,
So I can add a couple more lights for you. Actually, how about I just do this?
Oh yeah. So
I'll give it a.
Jess. Let's move over here.
Those are blinds.
So they're blind spots. The blind spots look so funky though.
Is that a little bit better?
yeah, a little.
Yeah. So I understand what's going on now. Game Master.
Okay.
It's just the weirdness of the way that the. So it's basically, it's letting us know that we know what's there, so it's partial covered, but we can't see it, therefore it's still covered. That's
Oh, okay. So it's like something you've explored, but not something that.
you
Okay.
can actually see, yeah. Because I'm just like looking at this, I'm like, I don't understand what I'm looking at, but I get it now.
Okay, sweet. So everybody's kind of clear on what's happening and all that, right?
I think so.
And what they're seeing. Okay, very good. Oh, Char's outside.
Yeah.
Left or
Yeah,
right
you can-
exit.
It's pretty much a fully explorable map, so feel free to have some fun.
Oh,
But
what if I jump?
I would not
I'm
suggest
not
it.
gonna do that. That
Currently,
sounds-
you're thousands of feet in the air, but
See, it
you're
sounds
short
fun,
with
but I
character.
don't think it would be a good idea, so I'm just not gonna.
so currently it's just blackness off the edge of the island. But down there you do see the sky and all that, right? And eventually the earth down
Dang,
below.
how high are we? We look down and we see the sky? That's like outer space, bro.
Yeah, you're really high up
How are we breathing?
because you're not that high up.
What? Okay.
So imagine kind of like an airplane, Gladius.
Oh,
like-
okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Krista, what do we do now?
Yeah, because those have totally been invented. Yes. Okay. I know what you mean. I'm just messing with you. Yes.
I am going to, before we do anything, guys, I need to do some conditioning on the sword that I have, so that I have enough power to be able to, or exhaustion points essentially, to be able to use the thing. It's going to take an hour per thing. It's going to be 4 of them, and then I have to do a long rest afterwards to recover my experience points or exhaustion points.
That's fine.
How long do we have to wait?
You guys don't have to wait. It's just going to be a long rest for everybody, essentially. So, Tom, I'm going to use all 20 of my experience points and do 5 conditioning things. Which should give me... Where's the conditioning thing?
So think of him as he's leveling up his abilities. It pretty much gives him more charges every long rest, and he can use those charges to use his sword or his helmet or whatever.
It takes 1
Just
hour.
for everybody
Yeah.
else.
So what I'm doing is I'm adding. I'll share this document with all of you, but essentially, the sword comes with something called exhaustion points, and I start with 15 plus my character level plus these conditioning gains. So right now I have 20 exhaustion points. The thing is, just to carry this sword, I lose an exhaustion point every hour. And every 4 turns in combat, I lose another one. Every time I have to do 2 ability checks, I lose another one. If I take 10 hit points of damage, I lose another one. So with 20, I mean, 1 good fight, and I'm supposed to be exhausted. So I have to do this in order to be able to be functional at first, and then later there are abilities that I can use. For example, there's the Vengeance of Omnia, which shoots a beam of light, and it damages evil aligned creatures. 1d4 per level. So there's a bunch of things we can do later, but I have to start doing these conditioning. Every time we take a long rest, I'm using the rest of my exhaustion points to increase my conditioning so we can actually utilize it when it's needed. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So with that one thing that I just did, it's almost doubled my exhaustion points. So
That's cool.
All right, very good. Let me pull up one other thing, and then I think we're ready. If y'all have any other, unless y'all have anything else.
Not really.
Very good. Oh, that's why I didn't share. Because I exited out before it did. Okay. Okay, here we go. Haha, we got it. Alright, so just coming off of the tail of your previous battles and floating up into the sky, remind me again, everyone took a long rest once you got up into the sky, right?
Yeah.
we just took one, yeah.
And now, yet again, just to be clear, your plan is to go to the last place you remember the resistance being Adra and Char.
Correct.
That was what we were talking about, but I don't think we ever actually decided that, did we?
I'm not sure we were 100%, but I think at this point, yes. Especially.
Well, let's go through it all and think about it. So there's two things that we need to know, or we need to do. First, we need to figure out everything else. So going there would be we also need to figure out how to make the hands that you so unceremoniously cut off this guy to be able to work. So our weapons with the bones of it, or whatever, gloves or whatever, to make it work. So. But I kind of favor let's go to the last place that the resistance was, and see if we can't at least get a better lay of the land before we start traipsing about after other things.
So, my thought is this: that in terms of the gloves, the people most skilled at this would probably be these butcher type people, because that's literally their entire jobs, is just to cut things apart and turn them into new pieces of things. Especially with skin.
It's just talking right
So,
now. We're just talking
I
about what we're
think
gonna do.
capturing one of them would be a priority, though I don't think we, first one we find, we capture them and we head back, because the other thing is we need to gather as many of these coins, these currencies, for our powers, essentially, for this place, as
Welcome,
possible.
Cloud Clobber.
And so I feel that our previous headquarters would likely have a great treasury of these coins, because I assume that we would have had a great many of them, and the enemies clearly show that they don't care that much about destroying them. They just kind of hide them away.
I'm totally down with that.
Yeah,
I was just saying that let's rehash it real quick to make sure we make the right decision.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Anybody else have feedback on this?
I'm good with it.
All right, then that's what we're going to go. What was it, 50 Omnia
Yes, sir.
coins?
50 of the Omnia coins.
Okay, so we're going to transport ourselves there.
I need to come up with a better name for those. Any thoughts?
Omnioids.
Omnioids.
Tokens of Omnia.
We'll figure it out. Eventually I'll say something, or someone will say something, and it'll click for the rest of the Omnioids. Maybe we should start calling it that. We'll see.
I'm
Okay,
going
so-
with tokens. 50 tokens.
Omnioids.
So to the city that that Char and Adra recognize to be Carleone. So as I'm getting this pulled up and stuff, as you get into this city, where exactly would you like to imagine yourselves entering the city? Because this thing operates by, you think of where you want it to go and it'll move there. So where exactly do you want to think of yourself being? Would it be like in the middle of the city, you know, on the outskirts of the city, on the ground, in the air? Where do you want to go?
Was there like a central castle thing?
There's like a central square, yeah, that would probably fit the whole.
Are there any tall towers?
Yes, there would be tall towers. Assuming those tall towers are still there, yeah.
I just
Can-
realized
can
we
we-
have a ballroom. I'm so happy.
Can we park? Can we park our castle so that we can walk out the door and go into the tall tower and then?
My thought was just like we literally, if we knew that there was a castle or something there that we could like literally just pop off, fight the boss immediately, and then figure out what we're doing. Because I'm assuming every one of these places has some sort of like head guardian or head leader.
Do we know where in the city their base was?
Yes, it was. So for the most part, you had the whole city, so you kind of took the castle and stuff like that. Yeah. So you really have any part of the city, but your main bases were in the castle and some of those, you know, surrounding royalty buildings and stuff like that.
Well, let's do that. Let's park up just like Christian has said.
Right at the castle.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. So I do not have the castle specifically made, but anyway, you
Roll 20.
we good?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So I will say the northwest altar, that's the one that teleports you places. So Adra or Char, you'll just stand inside of that circle, and there's a little, like, if you like zoom in, you can see little candles and stuff there, and there's that you know, the altar and all the little stuff. You'll stand somewhere in that area, and you'll just think of where you want to go. And as you think, you feel everything. You know, you think of your location, and suddenly you feel everything around you shift, and suddenly, yeah, it's like you're being just pulled through the fabric of something, and suddenly, you know, you feel like you're underwater for a second, and all of a sudden it stops, and it's just kind of one of those like stomach wrenching stops, not in like a bad way, but it kind of, you know, pulls at your stomach a little bit, and you know, it's a little bit weird to get used to, but once you get used to it, you move over to the front door of the castle, and you know, you look out, and there, sure enough, there's a castle, but it looks a lot different than it did before. There's, you know, there's spots of rubble all over the place, and half of the walls of the castle have fallen apart, and there's, you know, massive rooms that, you know, the roofs have just completely collapsed in on themselves, and it's really a pile of ruins by this point. And so you're able to kind of step off of your island and onto one of the kind of walls of the castle, and with some effort you can, you know, navigate your way down, and you know, you end up in just this, I mean, most of it's just rubble by this point. Everything's been burned. There's ashes, you know, all over the place on the ground, and at this point there's also foliage starting to grow, and these ashes have long since had water soak into them, and it's turned into this just like, I mean, in some spots there's just these thick rocks of ash, and in other spots it looks like ash has been washed away over and over and over again. So it's clearly rained at least a couple of times since you were last here. And from what you can tell, there's no one anywhere. The whole city is like this, just ashes and rubble, and there's some spots that you can still kind of recognize, but for the most part, the whole city is just devastated. The battle past when y'all were knocked out or whatever happened to you apparently went on for quite a long time, because yet again, everything is destroyed. And so, go ahead.
Should we get out and investigate, guys? Or
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, we're here for the coin, so just start looking.
do you know where you met them generally, so we could start our search in that area?
I would assume I would.
Know where you met who?
Where he signed the contract and met with the leaders of the resistance. He should be able to tell generally where that room was in the rubble and stuff.
He signed the contract, I'm assuming, in a different location, or did you sign it for this battle?
I don't know. I assume
You can pick.
probably beforehand, but ultimately
Okay.
I still would know relatively where our leaders were.
Yeah, for sure. So you do know that last you remember, all of the leaders and stuff like that were meeting in the castle, and you're literally standing in the castle at this point, and there's nothing.
I know, or did they choose you as their new main?
I mean,
character?
except rubble and all that. So if you want to like dig through stuff, you
Are
can
you
find,
replacing
you know,
someone?
some of those coins, or you can find something
No,
that you're,
I'm an
you know.
NPC.
That was the thought I was having, that we would do that with the help of, detect magic, maybe something like that, to like
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
be guided towards troves of the coins.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to start with simple investigation.
Yeah, and
Sounds
I
good. Go ahead
recommend
and
at
roll.
least someone stand guard while the other three of us are,
Who has the highest perception?
investigations +2 for me, perceptions +5.
For me,
So probably.
Well, I got a crummy
Char.
investigation score, or roll.
So Christoph, you're able to find a whole bunch of rubble. You find some rocks. You even find some solidified ash and a couple of tree branches. And at a certain point, you get really, really lucky, and you find a whole 50 gold pieces inside of a little sack. But that's it.
Well, that's 50 more gold pieces than I had before.
Okay,
And then
Jasmine rolled a 20 on investigation, and since mine investigation is terrible, I will be the one guarding.
okay, so Jasmine, you rolled a 20 for investigation.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, so not a natural.
Okay. So you, yet again, kind of the same stuff, but you're able to find, instead of 50 gold coins, or gold pieces, you're able to find a gem, and you're not sure exactly how much it's worth, but you assume it's in the range of 100 to 200 gold pieces. That's just kind of your dart-in-the-wall estimate. And you are able to find another 50 of those Omnia coins kind of nearby where you found the gem. And you're kind of scouring stuff, so it's kind of hard to tell what's what, but you think you looked throughout the whole room that you found the gold coins in. And you were able to find some of the Omnia coins as well. And as you keep looking, you're not able to find much more, but it's more than you had before, so.
So, sorry, how many Omni Queens did I
50.
50? Okay.
50.
I didn't catch
I
it.
basically found what. Well,
What it took to get here?
yeah.
Well, that's something. Else.
Next, Gladius. As you search with an 18, as you search, you're able to find another one of those gems. You're guessing somewhere between 100 and 200. This one's blue and it's shining. I mean, not shining, but like as light touches it, it sparkles, and it kind of it's a really cool effect there. So another one of these crystal gem things, and you're also able to find another. You're able to find another 25 of the Omnia coins.
how many? Okay.
And then, so as people are searching, sorry, let me. As people are searching, Char starts hearing some really, really, really minor shuffling noises. And he's not really sure what he's hearing because it's very inconsistent. At some points it's like a quick pitter pat, and at other points it's like a really slow and like dragging, and and it kind of switches between 2 or 3 different patterns is what he's noticing. And he notices that within the first like 10 seconds. And then all of a sudden he hears this really high-pitched voice, and it says, "We are really happy. I'm just, we need more." And that's all you hear. And then the movement just stops, and you're able to hear that only because of how you're positioned and all that, and it doesn't appear like anybody else is able to hear it. And I'll actually move you to the new scene now.
Thank you, bro.
And we'll just say this fountain-looking thing in the middle is kind of the middle of the castle. For whatever reason, this castle had a fountain in the middle.
Okay.
Can you all see all right?
Where was I, theoretically, in this?
Let's say you were right about there.
Okay.
And you hear this noise coming from this direction.
Okay, that's what just what I was about to ask.
Yes.
Which direction? Oh, only Char knows. My bad. Never mind.
Up here.
Okay.
Okay, so since they are doing that, I will try to sneak around just to try to get a view of who is making the sound.
Okay, go ahead and roll for stealth. Oh, okay. And are you going to sneak up to that little wall there? I assume.
Yeah, the goal was to at least
natural
get
one
a
is so
visual on who is talking,
low.
see if I recognize them.
Yeah. So you kind of peek around the wall a little bit right there. And you see this guy maybe 30, 40 feet off. At this point, he'd be off the map. And as you kind of move up, you don't even realize it, but you are like just absolutely kicking up a fuss, making tons and tons of noise. And you even trip a little bit while you're going and fall down, and then you get back up, and so it's like a whole scene for everybody else to watch. But
Can I go up to him and cast?
currently you are searching for stuff.
Oh, fair. My bad. Never mind.
And you kind of look out, and there's this kind of scraggly looking guy, and he's got tattered clothes on, just completely destroyed, and he has these like weird white spots all over his skin, and black spots and white spots all over his skin, and it's almost like polka dots, and you can see on the white spots there's it's just like absorbing his skin and just melting his skin away. So you can see spots of flesh. Some spots you can almost see all the way down to his bones. And these black spots are these massive boils that, are just, it's not a pretty sight to see him. And he hears you tripping, and he hears you coming, and you see him look at you, and he kind of moves forward, and he's like pulsing a little bit as he goes, and he gets up closer, and he gets to about right there, kind of stepping on some of the rubble some, and he looks at you, and he says in a completely different voice, he goes, "We thought someone was there. Who are you?"
And I don't recognize them at all?
This stutter. Oh my
No, you have no clue who this is.
Okay.
Hearing the guy actually say something, I'm going to start heading towards him.
Same.
Sounds good.
I just say, we are travelers, or I should say, survivors like you. How long have you been here?
He kind of twitches his head some, and he goes, "Oh, I haven't been here that long, but I was just looking for something I could sell." Yes,
Gosh,
we need more. I want more.
You're like a golem character, bro. I swear, bro.
I'm gonna say,
He's a
hey, do you
schizo.
have something you could sell us?
He's a schizo, bro.
We don't sell anything. No. I'm sorry about the rest of them. They're
Bro, he's a
Huh.
schizo.
they're not very
He's
nice.
me, right, bro?
They're gonna get me killed. No, we don't have anything to sell. I've looked and we found nothing. With the silence, he moves forward a little bit, and he gets really close. And eventually he gets, just like face to face with Gladius. And as he gets closer to you, Gladius, you just smell this awful stench. It smells like burnt, spoiled eggs. It's absolutely awful and just horrendous. Almost enough that you're like backing away because of how bad it is. And he gets up really close to you, and he says, Do you have any money?
I'm sorry, but I do not.
And then he walks over to Kristoff in very similar effect, and he says, Do you?
Do I even
What was that?
clue what the white and black spots on them are? Like, have I
Oh,
seen
yes.
or heard of this before?
Yes, you would have seen this before. So this is pretty much think druggy. This is a guy who is addicted to. You recognize you don't know the name exactly of the chemical that he's on, but there's some narcotic that he's obviously very obsessed with, and it's tearing apart his body, and it's drugs.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Because that's why I was so like not sure what to do. I'm like, is this like
Okay,
one of
so
the
he's not a
sicknesses of
schizo, he's
the
a
Nathaniel
druggie.
guy? But okay.
Even better.
No, you recognize this to be like the effects of some sort of a narcotic. Yet again, you don't know the name of it, but
There we go. Sir,
y'all are a quiet bunch, aren't you?
Sir, I apologize, but I do think it is time for you to leave. We are searching ourselves, and we have not found a great deal yet either.
Okay.
Would you
But
like
we need more!
to eat?
More! You would give me food?
Of course. Would you like something to eat?
He kind of stops and he looks down and he backs away a little bit, and
funny.
he says, "No one's ever been so kind to me before." He said, "Yes, we would love food."
I'm gonna give him a ration and a water skin.
He kind of takes the ration and water skin, and he looks down and he just kind of sits there thinking for a second. He's still kind of twitching a little bit and kind of shuffling back and forth, and he goes, we need this. Yes, we can sell it. We can sell it and get more. And then he just goes gallivanting off, and as he goes gallivanting off, he's like pretty much sprinting full tilt, and he's laughing hysterically, and he says, "North to Limhurst we go! North to Limhurst we go! We can get some more!" And he kind of goes off north for a while, and then he goes off west, and then he kind of comes back towards you, and then he kind of pushes past Gladius and Kristoff, and then he goes off toward the south and just keeps going off south.
Can I follow him?
I don't think so. I think in his madness he told us where to go. We need to go north to Limhurst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can
Whether
really
that
find.
was the resistance retreating north or the enemy going that direction. I think it makes sense to go that way either way.
Yeah.
Do we know generally where Limhurst is from here?
I was
Go ahead and roll your d4, Christian.
okay.
Or sorry, Char.
I got a 2.
I got a 4.
Okay, so no ones. So y'all don't know where it is, but and again, by his instructions, how hard could it be? And you do recall before that there was a path going to the north. So you're pretty sure that something does go past that, and the old civilization obviously had something in that direction because there's a path there. But is that the plan of action?
I think so. But before we go, I'm gonna cast detect magic on myself and do another investigation of the area. I linked detect magic into the chat.
And you're looking for more of those coins, I assume.
I'm looking for anything magical that is around. Hopefully those coins, maybe something else.
We can look
So you're not able to find much. You are able to locate down another, let's say another 100 coins. But outside of that, it appears to just be a ruined city.
Okay.
Another 100 omnioids. There you go. Is that it for you?
That's all I wanted to do. I'm ready to move when you guys are.
Yeah. Same.
Before we go, just to, for my own, make sure I'm understanding, is there any way for us to steal the fortress behind us, like so that no one, such as that person, can go in there?
There is a front door. You can close it. You're not sure how safe it is. You could probably guess it would be pretty safe because it's big and it's a strong door.
It's a magical castle.
But overall, if the it's a magical castle, so you can kind of assume maybe it has some sort of protection. But yeah, there's a big door you can close, and if you put it up in the air, no one's going to get to it anyway. So I mean, it's kind of.
Oh, it doesn't cost any extra to make it move up.
I'll say. Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say if you're gonna be moving it within 100 feet, it can just kind of move there, just kind of float or something. But if you're gonna go any farther than 100 feet in, over the course of an hour, then you need to use coins.
Okay, then I think we just move it up straight up in the air, 100 feet, and we'll come back.
Sweet. So with that, unless there's anything else anyone wants to do here, with that, I will move on.
Nope, let's move.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, forever hold your peace. So as you begin on the path north, you keep going north, and sorry, give me a sec. As you keep going north, you eventually the ruins and the ashes and all of that eventually kind of fade, and you find yourself in a you notice for sure that the sun is definitely a lot darker. It's maybe 20% of what it normally is. It's not that bright out, and you look up and it's noonday, but it's still not that bright out. And so whatever's happening, it's obviously altering the light of the sun, and you're able to go. And you go for about 2 days, so go ahead and take off 2 rations each, and 1 water skin, because I think it's half a water skin per day. And
So, are we traveling 12 hours a day?
that's for y'all to decide.
Okay. Hold on. So, at the end of each day, I'm going to use the rest of my exhaustion points to do some conditioning. So if we're traveling 12, that's 12 hours. So that means I'll have 24 left, which means I can do 4 the first time.
So I will say, the first fit city you get to is going to be about 50 miles away.
And that'll be... Hold on, let me figure this out. Because we're going to take long rests every night. So Every night I'm going to do this again. 52. Okay, I have it figured.
All right. So with that, you head north, and I mean, you head there for 2 days, and the little path keeps going, and it's just this dirt path. It's very simple, nothing crazy. And as you continue going north, eventually things get a little bit more lush. You can tell that the vegetation is struggling without the sun, but I mean, it's relatively more lush, and eventually you find yourself. Eventually, you're finally able to see up ahead of you you're finally able to see up ahead of you a small town. There's maybe 10 houses. And as you get closer and closer, your excitement kind of fills up, and you get there toward the very end of the second day. Or let's say the beginning of the third day is when you get there. And let me move the party there. And you get into this city, and or I guess this town, and it's, there's kind of a big patch of dirt where people commonly walk, and there's a couple of even more trodden areas where travelers often walk through, and there's little spots of shrubbery here and there, but for the most part it's a pretty empty area. And there's a couple of houses there, and as you kind of look, there's a couple of women moving around. There's a couple of hobgoblins, what appears to be bullying or something. A commoner. There's a merchant who's has his little wagon, and he's talking to a couple of people, and I mean, it's just kind of a bustling little area. Maybe 15, 20 people altogether. As you walk in, and there's a guy selling potatoes, and he sees you coming, and he kind of comes forward to you, and he says, "Hello, would you like to buy some potatoes?"
No, thank you, sir.
One each. We'll buy a potato in exchange for information.
Okay, what do you want?
What happened to the city just from the side of here? So, south of here.
He kind of looks around a little bit, and he looks at the people around him. He looks at the merchants, the commoners, and then he definitely looks back, and he glances at the hobgoblins, and he kind of shakes his head a little bit, and he says, "What?"
That's a gold coin?
Silver coin.
Do copper. We have lots of copper.
Okay.
So you pull out a copper coin, and he kind of looks at you, and he puts his head down, and he starts shaking his head, and he said, I'm not allowed to talk about it. And then he starts walking backwards. And he, kind of stands by his potatoes and ignores you.
I'm like, can I at least get my potatoes? How many copies?
He goes, yeah, of course, you can have potatoes. How many did you want?
There's 4 of us. 8.
Okay.
How much?
You want 8 potatoes?
Yep.
Okay. He says that'll be 8 copper pieces.
I give him 10.
Okay. He looks at it and he goes, "Oh, thank you. You're too kind." Then he looks at you and he goes, "You haven't been around here much, have you?"
No, which is why we need the information. Do you know someone who would be willing to share?
Slumpy, you're so kind.
Could you possibly tell us who the leader is in town? We could speak with him.
He kind of looks down again at the ground a little bit, and you can tell he's like really, really nervous. He's kind of swaying, side to side, and just has some of those little nervous mannerisms as people tend to. And he's messing with his shirt some, and he says, we don't really have a leader in this town, but you can keep going along this path to Limhurst, and maybe and someone there is the leader. And yet again very nervous, kind of stuttering through his words. but he's yet again looking down.
I'm gonna smile gently at him and put my hand on his elbow and say thank you. We'll talk to you later. And start
That's okay.
walking down the path.
He kind of looks at you as you put your hand on his elbow, and he says, "What was your name?"
I am Christoph.
Suddenly, the whole square gets silent as you say your name. Everybody gets completely silent. Everyone stops talking. It's literally just completely silent. And suddenly,
Not that one. Not that one.
sorry, what?
As in, not that Christoph.
Oh, that's what you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These hobgoblins in the side who were previously harassing this poor commoner, they kind of turn around and they look at you, and in their hobgoblin way, they're a little bit hunched, and this leader, this guy who's a little bit bigger than the others, walks pretty close, and he walks about 10 feet away from Kristoff, and he finally says, "What did you say?"
I said that my name is Christoph. There's a million Christophs in this world, aren't there?
And then he kind of beckons to his friends, and his friends come closer, and he gets right in your face, and his friends are kind of right behind him like goons, and he gets right in your face, and he says, "You know the law. We don't say that name."
I'm sorry, friend. I am a visitor here. I do not know the law, but if you say so, you can call me Fred from now on.
He looks at you, and he kind of smiles a little bit and shakes his head, and he says, "You know the penalty. 10 gold pieces."
Oh.
Well, just because my parents named me that? Not a very friendly town, is it?
As you say this, you see him just start to get all flustered, and just the changes in his face, you could just see the emotions and the gear spinning in his head. And he looks at you and he says, "Kind? What do you mean we're not kind?" And he shoves you back a little bit and pushes you. Maybe you're only able to push back a little bit, but he definitely pushes you back a little bit.
So I'm going to try a persuasion roll here and say, "Hey, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. It's just my name."
He looks at you and says, "Well, you better change your name, because we don't say that. We don't say anything about anybody who was once a part of that nasty rebellion."
Okay. Well,
Dang.
that's why I said call me Fred.
He looks at you and says, "By order of Nathaniel, you never say that again." And he kind of, puffs out his chest and puts his hand on the hilt of his sword and just kind of proudly looks at you, and he kind of grunts a little bit and then turns away and goes back to this guy he was harassing earlier.
I'm going to turn
And so do his goons.
I'm going to turn to the others and say, "Well, I think we can talk to this Nathaniel guy to figure out what's going on here."
Nathaniel is the ultimate bad guy.
We might not want to do that then.
I mean, we do need to talk to him at some point to get your name legalized.
Yeah, we do.
Does that mean our names are illegal because we also were part of?
Actually, that's a good question. I was wondering the same thing. How famous were we on this side?
Well, I mean, all we have to do is
you
say
were
your
not very
names, and,
famous.
all we have,
Okay,
either way, all we'd have to do is say your names and find out.
Yes, you were not very famous from what you can tell, but
I whispered to Adro, "Why don't you go find out what they're harassing that individual about? Try to figure out if it's something that we should care about."
I'm gonna stealth over there and try and figure out if I can hear what they're saying.
okay, go ahead and roll stealth.
plus 11.
Well, you have plus 11 to stealth.
23.
Oh, sheesh. Okay. Yeah, you're fine. They don't know you exist.
Good.
So you get closer, and as you get closer, they're just kind of pushing this guy around a little bit, and they're kind of having fun and all that, and for the most part, it seems like they're just kind of being standard childhood bullies. I mean, they're literally just like pushing him around, and they have like a loaf of bread that they've been tossing around to each other and playing monkey in the middle with them, and so it's like completely.
Poor peasant.
Yeah, I mean, it seems very childish from what you can tell.
3 of them?
Yes, there are 3 of them.
How fast can I kill them, do you think, if they stay hidden?
How fast can I kill them
Can't
all?
kill
What?
3 before they say anything. It's 3 turns.
Can I throw 2 knives?
I can get the 3rd.
Okay. Can I see your intentions?
Probably. Because you know me well enough.
Yeah. So I see what she's planning, and I walk over there in the open.
Okay. Adra, I'm assuming you're about right there.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I thought we were right by the group.
this one.
I'm following you as you walk
Yeah.
down there.
Okay.
Did the hobgoblin say his name, you master?
Have the hobgoblins what?
Did the hobgoblin say his name? I don't remember.
Say the name of the guy who's being pushed around.
No,
No, his own name.
Oh no, he didn't.
Okay. So I walk up to like right behind him, and I kind of tap him on the shoulder.
At first, he's kind of laughing, and he's playing with his friends, and he kind of looks around like what the heck is why is someone tapping me on the shoulder? And he sees you, and yet again, you could just see the gears turn in his head, and he gets really, really angry, and he just booms out, "What do you want?"
So slow for this guy.
I want to know how much it cost for you to be paid off by Nathaniel. And then I grab his mouth, and I scorching ray inside of his mouth.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Savage.
Yeah. What does he roll for that, or what's the roll?
I gotta roll. Well, I was gonna ask you, do I actually have to roll an attack roll if I'm literally touching?
What does he roll for that, or what's the roll? You can just say it hits.
Okay.
Just tell me how much damage.
Yeah, give me a second.
I think it'd be pretty hard to miss.
That was my thought, but I figured.
Actually, do roll. If you get a nat 1, then we'll say somehow you miss.
Okay.
Because why not?
Oh.
What did you roll?
I put it in.
Okay, you're good. Yeah.
Right,
I was about to say, if you roll a nat 1, you're holding him and you still miss a scorching ray. That'd be funny.
Yeah, it's gonna hit me again.
After that, it's going past the guy and hitting the peasant.
I need a.
Okay, so how much?
It's 66. I'm pretty sure. I'm just checking to make sure. Well,
Okay,
2d
very good.
each, but it's 3 of them. So.
And then I need to throw my daggers.
So obviously we're all attacking with advantage here, the first round.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
20. It's 21 damage because the 1 is replaced by a 2. So 21 fire damage.
Okay. Very good.
And then I need to roll the hit.
Okay, go ahead. And remember, you do get advantage. And you might get automatic crit because you're hidden right now.
Oh,
I was like,
guess I
you
got
would have.
14. Automatic crit.
Yep.
Okay. Automatic crit, and they don't know my dagger stats.
I think it's 1d4. Is that right?
Yep.
1d4
I
plus
really should use the short bow. That's
And are you going to be attacking these 2 smaller ones behind, or are you going to be attacking the main guy? Who do you want to hit?
You should use short bow so you can
I'm gonna do my short bow instead, if that's okay. And
Yeah, for sure.
2d6s because I had sneak attack, right?
Yeah.
And then plus 4 because of
Plus poison, because you-
Yeah, plus the 4, and then
And then you double all the rolls.
6, 10, double 20, plus 5. So 25 damage to one of the minions. Right? One of the...
Need another d6 for me.
Oh, I need another d6.
That'll already kill him.
Oh, okay. It kills him. It's
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I will actually say that the arrow pierces through and hits the guy behind, and leaks the rest of the damage, which will also kill him. These guys are pretty weak, but with a shot that's literally triple his health, I think it'll go through him. So with that, you have this big baddie.
Quick little side eye.
So, as you kind of give her this little smile, you hear this really, really low, kind of gruff voice, and he yells and he says, "Oh, I call the dwarf!" And then as you look back, you see this dark dwarf come, and he runs maybe 25, 30 feet, and he gets near Kristoff. He's trying to go toward Kristoff, but he's a dwarf and can't run that quick, so.
That's so funny. I call the door.
All right, so we need to roll for advantage.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We need to roll for initiative.
Initiative, yeah.
You've got to be kidding me, right? 4, bro.
I had 4.
But because we're doing,
I will give Kristoff and Gladius one more turn before anyone else goes, and then we'll start initiative. Just for obvious,
I'm gonna come there and just whack the dude with my battle axe or my sword of Omnia one-handed.
Okay. And you're attacking the bad guy, I assume?
Yes, from behind.
Okay. Yeah, so you do get I guess you already have advantage, so you get more advantage. Yeah.
Oh, real quick before I do my turn.
25 hit,
Yeah, that'll hit.
and I get 2 attacks. Do I have to roll to hit on both attacks, or just one?
No, I'll just say they both hit 25.
13 damage then.
Okay. And then next, go ahead, Gladius.
Real quick before my turn. Is it supposed to be dark?
It's like maybe 20% of the normal sun. So yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. The red guy's the enemy, right? Okay. Let me pull up my thing.
The red guy is the enemy. Yeah.
What? Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna cast Tasha's hideous laughter.
Okay. So he makes a wisdom saving throw. Okay. And then I will have what did Adra and Char roll for initiative?
I got a
8.
20. I roll a natural 20 on my initiative.
Oh, very nice. Okay. With that, to go ahead, Char, I will tell you if he's successfully laughing as soon as I roll. Oh, he got a nat 1. Yeah, he is rolling on the ground laughing. He is more than laughing. He is like peeing his pants. It's even he's laughing.
Happy
Yeah.
actually worked.
How
So at this point, he is prone.
how hurt does he look?
He appears that he, still has a little bit of fight left in him, but maybe if you had to, eyeball it, about half.
Okay.
Do we see anybody but the dwarf, besides the dwarf coming towards us?
No, as a matter of fact, everybody else has. Most of them have run away. Some of them have, gone inside of their houses, and they're all kind of trying to avoid the situation. And at this point, you've pretty much successfully emptied the square, and this merchant has jumped inside of his cart.
Since he is... Question, is this guy moving at all?
Mr. Dwarf, right?
No, he's kind of stunned at this point.
Okay. And then I can't...
Just like, what the heck is happening around me? And he does back up maybe 5 feet, but...
We go about...
Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a normal firebolt then, because this guy is like just right in front of me, like ran on the ground, so he's pretty easy to
go,
hit.
right here.
Yeah.
I can actually go.
You do have
5
advantage
feet.
on that, by the way.
I could go right here. I could go here, and then in a 15-foot square radius.
All right, so I rolled 25.
It's going to
Okay.
I can cast. Thunder.
Okay, so
Wave
that's
and
actually
knock
10
him back
damage.
If he doesn't do it, and I'll do like thunder damage. It's really good.
Okay. Very good. Your firebolt successfully hits, and he does not appear to like it. For a second, he's like half like screaming in pain and half laughing, and it's hard to tell which one's which at this point. But
Cackling like a witch.
but he's just he is not having a great time right now. And with that, it is Adra. What did you roll for initiative again?
8.
Okay. With that, the dark dwarf continues to run forward towards Kristoff. And then it is Kristoff's turn.
I'm gonna run up to this dude, and I am gonna try to grapple him.
Okay.
Ooh. That's nice.
Okay, your grapple does succeed.
Grab
So
him.
it's a strange sight, but Kristoff comes running and just jumps on top of this guy. And, to see, two bowling ball of, guys just like absolutely tackling each other is very strange. But eventually Kristoff gets on top of him and puts him in a pin, and he's laying on the ground and he, just absolutely furious. He's normally kind of pale, but his face is like bright red right now because of how furious he is. And he spits on Kristoff and he yells, "Your kind is nasty! He's just absolutely going at it and, saying all sorts of these terrible insults, and he's not happy, in case you couldn't tell.
So, as I pin him, as I get on top, I'm gonna say, "Kill the hobgoblin." We can get some information out of my dark cousin here.
That's racist.
Already planning on
All right. All right. With that, it will be Adra's turn.
She went to go grab something really quick, but I know what she's gonna do. She's gonna shoot the arrow. So just give me one
Wait, really? Okay. No way.
second. Yeah.
At least I'm not in the light of sight this time. When the natural one comes around.
Well,
And she will maintain a crit.
I was like, she actually got a natural 20 on the first roll. She didn't even need to roll the other 2 times that she gets.
Oh,
Okay, so then. Plus 5. 29 points of damage.
29.
Yep, 29.
Okay, the shot nails him right in the head. and just like half in a fit of laughter, half in pain. This thing goes right through his head, and he falls down. And he's obviously very dead, and his body twitches a couple of times, and then he's just still.
Alright.
With that, it is going to be Gladius's turn.
All right.
Persuasion. Make this guy tell us what we're doing here.
I'm gonna ask him what? What do you want? out
We
of
got to
me?
find out more information. Use your persuasion, Bard. Isn't that all you're good for?
Hey.
He looks at you.
Hey.
He looks at you, and he stops yelling at this Chris, or he stops yelling at Kristoff, and he looks at you really confused, and he says, "What? What?"
I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him.
Okay, ask
Do
him.
do you know where to get information?
He looks at you and he goes, "Yeah, the sky is blue. There you go. Information."
I'm. Can I walk up to him and slap him?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna
He's
walk up
grappled.
to him and slap him. I did roll persuasion. I did. I just don't know how to make it go to everybody. It's my bad.
Oh, I see it. Okay, you have a 19 for persuasion.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what information are you trying to get out of him, Sam?
I don't know what they
Or sorry,
want from me.
Gladius.
I don't know what they want from him. How to meet up with the Nathaniel or whatever his name is.
He looks at you and he's just like, and apparently something with the way you said it, just kind of strikes something in him, and he goes, "Well, Nathaniel is in his castle, in the Capitol building. So if you just go to the Capitol and ask for an appointment, then they'll get it for you. I mean, obviously you'll probably never be able to meet him because you're just a nobody, but but that's, I guess, how the normal people do it."
Thank you, kind sir.
How many men does he have under arms?
He looks at you and he goes, "I'm not telling you anything." Go ahead and roll persuasion really quick.
I'm gonna look at the Bard and say, "You ask." I got a 19 on persuasion anyway.
Okay, so scratch that. He looks at you and he goes, "I'm not telling you anything." And then he kind of stops and he goes, "Wait, what was that?" And he asks you to repeat it.
I'm gonna repeat it for him, and I'm gonna ask him, how many men at arms does he have? Oh.
Well, I mean, and he kind of laughs a little bit and he goes, "Depends on what you mean by men at arms."
I mean, people under his commands that have weapons.
Like humans and humanoid creatures, or like his absolutely stunningly amazing creatures of great power.
Yes.
He kind of I would just like, he looks like completely like, I have no clue. And he goes, "Humans and other humanoid creatures, probably thousands. I really don't know. I mean, it depends. Like, if these nitwits around here," and he kind of gestures, the people hiding, in their houses and their heads peeking out, and he kind of, gestures with his head to all of those people. He's just like, if people around here would actually fight for him, then he has thousands. Otherwise, I don't know. And then he kind of chuckles a little bit. He goes, "But honestly, I don't think he's ever going to need humans. I don't think he's ever going to need dwarves or any of that, because he has his creatures."
Is there anything about his creatures that you think you could tell us?
Nat 20. He kind of laughs and he goes, "Well, they kill everything they see on his command."
It's all
What
in
did
that
you guys
gets.
do with the rebellion? Are they taken care of?
He looks at you yet again, kind of spits in your face, and due to your persuasion, he will talk, but he kind of spits in your face, and he's just like, "Oh, you need to stop talking." And then he says, "Well, He went to Carleon and he killed them all, as far as I'm concerned.
Did he kill them all by himself?
Well, his monsters helped him.
Fair.
So, having walked around to this dark dwarf, I, with my hand, put it on his cheek and do a controlled firebolt and sear into his cheek the symbol of Omnia.
Oh, that's
And I say,
nasty. Okay,
So we're
go ahead.
terrorists now, I see.
and I say,
How much damage will that do? Will that do any damage, or do I just make
I'm
that
not
up?
trying to hurt him. I'm just trying to
Like
break
one
Okay.
hit point because he's branding.
It does
him,
one hit
essentially.
point. Nice
Yeah,
job. All right, go
he's
ahead.
branding him essentially here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say, look, we've been gone for a bit. The most important thing, as far as I'm concerned, is why on earth would you fight for him now? You see what he's doing. Look at this place. This is not the future any of us would want.
He kind of looks at you and he laughs and he goes, "Oh, you know so little, you young creatures." And this guy, I mean, he's a dwarf, and he's quite obviously an older dwarf. So he's probably a couple hundred years old for all you know. But he kind of looks at you and laughs and he goes, "Oh, you young creatures," and obviously he's hurting because of the brand, and he kind of cusses you out a little bit for it. But after that he's "Oh, you young creatures," and then he says, "Me and Nathaniel and the hobgoblins and the goblins and the drow, we all think alike. We all have the same vision in mind."
So all of your people joined them then.
Well, I mean, I don't know if all of us have, but as far as I'm concerned, we're happy that Nathaniel's finally doing what we couldn't.
What is your same vision?
Well, they are Dwergars.
But
Dwergar, right?
I don't know what those are, bro.
We call it a dark dwarf. But
Okay, so
he looks at Gladius and he goes, "Well, you asked what? One more time, Gladius. What did you ask?"
what is your shared vision?
He looks at you and he just kind of laughs again and he goes, "Young creature," and he says, "Well, I worship the same God that he does, and I receive, I pray to the same God that he does, and we all, work together with that God. And as far as I'm concerned, if he's worshiping the same God that I am, then and he's the royal conduit. He's a buffet for my, the God I worship, and so why wouldn't I support him? Why wouldn't I have that vision? And that vision is power, is control. Our kind for thousands of years, and he looks at Kristoff again, and for thousands of years have been ravaged by the wrongs of your people." And so then he looks back at Gladius and he says, "We want revenge, we want power, we want all of the things that you have."
Dwergar, you have been branded with the seal of Omnia. Go to Nathaniel. Tell him that Kristoff, the paladin of Omnia, comes to destroy his menagerie and end his rule forever.
I still have one question. Sorry.
Answer his question before you go.
Where is the nearest barracks of Nathaniel's soldiers? The nearest area of fortification.
His creatures or his soldiers?
Both.
He, as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't used soldiers since the battle at Thetford. But his monsters, they roam everywhere.
So he has no place for them to rest or to stay. They just roam.
Pretty much, from what I understand. I do know that it's very. I mean, you have a lot of sightings of these, just beautiful creatures at Nathaniel's castle, specifically the lions.
With
But
so
outside of that,
seemingly little
no.
organization, how did you four pathetic creatures hold this town in hostage?
Yet again insulted and still kind of. I mean, kind of with you saying that he kind of gets this like this. I mean, his brand starts to hurt again, sort of thing, and he kind of like puts his hand on his cheek, and he looks at you and he goes, "Welp, the monsters assist us, and anytime that anyone causes problems like this, all we have to do is contact Nathaniel and he'll send one himself."
How do you contact him?
Well, I mean, kind of through the grapevine, we travel to the city and we tell one of his clerks and.
So there's no magical means of doing so.
Not that I know of. I mean, it'd be for creatures beyond me.
I look at Kristoff. Are you sure we want to send the message that you are alive right now?
You might be right.
I'll kill him.
No, come on.
By the way, you don't have to roll. You can just say he's dead. if you're gonna kill him.
No, he needs to die by the hand of his cousin.
Oh, come on.
Drog, fun final question. Where did you
What?
keep all of your belongings, all your treasures? I'm assuming you stole a great deal from the people here.
I do assume.
I come from deep in the mountains of Rockhelm. Nobody really knows where us dark dwarves stay, but that's where it is. It's deep in the mountains of Rockhelm, in a place so deep and dark that no dwarf has ever found it except us.
No, you idiot. Not your people, you. Where did you hide your daily gold?
Oh. He kind of looks down and he puts his hand on a little pouch and he goes, "Where everyone hides it."
I'm gonna snatch it.
Okay.
This town?
How the town is like these houses that you see around you. That's pretty much the whole town. Outside of that, it's just like a couple of farmlands and
Okay, I was imagining like 30
there's
buildings. Okay, alright.
Do I have to roll
It's
something to
pretty much
snatch the pouch?
No, you pretty much have the pouch if you want it.
Yeah, I want it. I snatch it. What's in it?
There is 120 gold pieces in it.
Okay, 120 plus 7. 109.
Alright, Kristoff, he's yours.
I thought he said 120 plus 7, so he just has
Plus
127 gold now.
No, I have 196 gold now.
Alright, Crystal.
I'm gonna end him,
Okay.
I'm gonna cheer.
and then I'm gonna go through his dwarven armory and the things that he has on him.
So most of these things, just due to your innate ability, are somehow have been like imbued with dark power, and it just kind of all has dark power, emanating from it. And it appears that he's not a very experienced fighter, but he has the standard. He has a warhammer. He had his pouch. He has some rations, maybe 5 rations, and 2 water skins, let's say. And he's got some like a bag of funky looking mushrooms. You're not really sure exactly what they are, but you assume it's some sort of they kind of glow a little bit on occasion, and you assume it's just some sort of fungus that he took from home as a snack or something. And outside of that, he has his clothes and
Okay.
not much. A bedroll, just the standard.
I'm just gonna tell everybody this is all imbued with dark magic. We'll have to destroy it.
Awesome.
Is there a blacksmith in town?
How am I?
No, not that you see.
We'll have to find some place to throw it in a
Fire.
flame and destroy it.
So with that,
I went
as
into this
you go ahead.
building with this guy,
Which guy?
with the one who
Oh,
just
okay.
last second.
So he looks at you and he's like absolutely stunned, and he looks at you and he's like, "You have no idea what they're going to do. What did you just do?" And
Oh, I have
he's
a very
like,
good idea
he's
what they're
like mad
going
at
to do.
you.
We're going to get all of you out of this town. None of you live here anymore. Very simple. Now, stop worrying, and I need to know, where is the next biggest town?
Just keep following the road, and you'll go to one of the biggest towns inside of and you'll go to one of the biggest towns inside of Pinar. It's called the place that you'll go is called Limhurst.
Okay, very well.
And then he looks at you and he just kind of like starts like backing away a little bit. And then Gladius, inside of this house right here. Do you see that guy that's standing there?
Yeah.
He kind of looks at you and he whispers at you and he kind of like beckons for you to come inside of his house.
I'm gonna come inside his
and-
house. I'm gonna intrude.
Okay, so you come inside of his house and it's a very, very small house. And he looks at you and he says, What did you say your name? What did the dwarf say his name was?" And he's stuttering a little bit because he's still kind of in shock. But
Christoph.
Christoph, what?
What's your last name?
My last name.
Yeah.
Stonebow.
Stonebow. Christoph Stonebow.
And he looks at you and he goes, "Why does what? There's no that doesn't make any sense." And then he kind of whispers at the window and he looks at the dwarf and he says, "Christoph, get over here." And he kind of beckons to the drow as well and he says, "Why not? You too." And he kind of like is like whispering in hushed tones and he's like trying to beckon for you to come in, and he scoots back into his house and invites you in, and he looks at you and you can tell for a second he's like trying to figure out what in the world do I say, and he's kind of pacing around his house back and forth, and
I'm gonna smile at him and I'm gonna extend my sword arm, my right arm, and I say, "Well met, good sir. What is your name?"
he looks down and he looks down at you and just the biggest smile appears on his face, and he drops down to his knees and he grabs your hand and like shakes it very, 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 very quietly and carefully, and he says ever since the battle at Carleone, my brethren have all given up hope in the last militia. We thought you were dead and that all hope was lost. I refuse to give up hope. Then he looks at you and he says, my name is Jack."
I am going to smile and I'm going to take him by the arm and I'm going to raise him up and I say, "We do not bow to our brothers in arms. We stand shoulder to shoulder. Now, tell me, what is the state of the rebellion?"
He looks at you and yet again just shock, and he kind of stutters through his words a little bit. And he says, "Well, after the Battle of Carleone, all the leadership were we think killed, but rumor has it King Cedric of Pinar, rumor has it he didn't die in the Battle of Carleone. Rumor has it he escaped, and if he's alive, you must find him, and you must regather the last militia. Go north, and that's where you'll find Limhurst." He says, "As a matter of fact, there's a man there. His name is," and he kind of puts his hand on his head, and he's like trying to remember the name, and he goes, "Belishar, that's what it is, Belishar. He's proved to be a great ally to the last militia. So long as he's paid, that is. Apparently, the end of the world isn't enough for him to forget money. If he refuses to meet with him, I mean, just tell him I sent you. Tell him Jack sent you. He kind of scoffs for a second, and he turns back to you, and he says, "Thank you for giving me hope." He says,
Belishar and Limhurst.